All right, welcome back to I was going to say the Limestone podcast. It's not that anymore. Two Screws Loose.
Just our podcast.
Just our podcast, the Pat McCall Show.
I'm in a mood.
Yeah, you are.
I got sore finger. Take my strong hand.
Oh, so now you want to talk about it?
No.
Okay, we won't talk about it. Today we're going to talk about a few things. Mainly, we're going to talk about training for beginners and getting into the gym. Me being longer in the gym than you have, I suppose, technically, by many years.
But I excelled faster.
Because you were fatter.
It took you 10 years to get to this. I'm a sassy mood today.
Yeah, you are. Fuck. Righto. Okay. So you can probably speak on it from your perspective, but we can get to that. We're going to start with client wins. Now, I'm going to talk about two people in one. They won't mind if I use their name in this.
Just because we haven't been using names, should we just stay consistent? Just be like...
No, I posted them yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So my clients, Lucas and Jess.
Shout out to Lucas and Jess.
Shout out to Lucas and Jess. They both have just finished up their little tidy up phase, pre-holiday. They kind of cut. They're going away for a week. So they wanted to be in shape for that, but they're also at the end of their growth phases and they're all getting a little bit too fluffy. So we decided to go into a bit of a cut, and they've been dieting for 10 to 12 weeks now. Lucas is down about 6 kilos. He's bigger and leaner, and Jess is down about the same, maybe 3 kilos, give or take. And she's also bigger and leaner. But they execute diligently. They never fail to go off plan. And when they do, they track everything. So she had her birthday Sunday. It's Monday, but she celebrated on Sunday. She had a dinner. She didn't track it, but she banked all in advance. She did everything she needed to do, so that the macros came out perfect at the end of the week anyway. And I think in the whole 12 weeks of dieting, I think they maybe deviated 2 or 3 times from it.
That's amazing.
And even when they do their growth phases too, they deviate it very, very rarely.
Yeah, they're very
they're routine.
consistent.
Yeah, she cooks all the food for him, so it's a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, so much easier. So much easier. He's living the life.
He is.
He just gets to eat, train, not think about it.
Yeah. So they met. I'm pretty sure they met through Reese.
Yeah.
Because he coached them both, and then they met, and then now they're married. And that was, well, he trained me when I was 18. So 7 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, they're looking jacked.
They are very jacked. Very jacked. Your turn.
Jacked a couple goals.
That's it.
I have a client. She has been working hard this whole time, but I got some updated photos today, and the results were amazing. But what I want to highlight was when she first started, her mood and energy were at 5 and 6s. So I went through today, and I actually went through every check-in to look at all the mood and energy to work out the averages. So in the first 4 weeks, her mood was averaging like 5.2, 5 maybe. And then her energy a little bit higher than that. And then in weeks 5 to 8, it'd gone up. My brain just died. She was...
It's gone up.
about 6 for mood and about maybe a 7 for energy. And then the last 4... Oh, no. Next 4 weeks was pretty much similar. And then the last 4 weeks, she's gone up from in mood being like close to a 7 and then more than 7.5. So obviously, you're with the average of 4 weeks, you've got your week of your period, your mood energy is a little bit lower that week. But she's gone up like 2 since the start. And she said that I'm just noticing an increased mood and energy. And she's gone from being an afternoon, trainer to a morning one because she was just feeling really rushed in the afternoon. I said, when you get home from work, you don't have to think about, heating up your meals or cooking or anything. You just want some downtime. Why not try in the morning? And she's just been loving it.
That's good. It's small things. People don't notice that they always fixate on the physical changes in weight loss or weight gain, but they don't really focus on the energy or the mental side of things. Yeah,
and in the first month, like I think towards Christmas, she had maybe 2 weeks that were just a bit low, just flat out waiting for holidays. But the last few weeks has been like 7, 8s, 9s, which is amazing. In the first month, it was like 5 and 4.
Yeah, wow. That's pretty mental. I mean, I even though it's only a 2-point change in mood and energy is quite big.
Yeah. Over the course of a month as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrific. Round of applause. on to today's topic. We're in a little bit of a time crunch here today.
We got lots of things to do.
Lots of things to do.
I'll go to doctors. You go to vet.
I got to go to the vet. All this kind
We've
of
got meetings.
everything. Here,
So, well, there's no segment today.
no segment today.
Oh, that's my favorite part.
We'll do. How about we do 2 segments next week? Well, this will come out next week. It ain't going out today.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, let's just talk about something funny quickly.
Go on.
Pat and I have not had a very good week with our cars.
Oh, the fucking cars. The cars.
Did you bring the plant cutter? Whatever you call it?
No, I forgot. I was in a rush this morning.
So yesterday I was parking here at the gym and all the spots were parked and I never park at this spot. And I went and I'm like, is that tree going to be a little bit too close? And then I was driving and I heard this bang. And I was like, oh no, got out of the car. This motherfucker tree branch had like, when I was driving in, it was like floppy, but it had bent. So the strong part of the wood was hitting my car. And I was trying to pull it out and I couldn't get it out.
Big scratch.
So I had to like reverse it and it scratched my car. And then I'm waiting for Patty Cakes to come back from his little adventure. What happened?
So I've had a slow leak for a while in my back right tyre. Just put air in it, ignored it. Yeah, it'll be fine. I dropped Reese at his tattoo appointment yesterday morning, and then it just went from bad to worse. So I was driving back from it's only a 15-minute drive normally to get to the tattoo place in Williamstown. It took me 45 minutes or so to get back because I was driving at like 10 k's an hour with my hazard lights on. Because I pulled over, this thing had proper flat. It sounded like the car was slapping down the road. It was bad. And then I pulled over, jacked the car up because I can change the tire. Tried to change it, but it had been bolted on with a gun. So there's no way I was getting those undone. So then I was like, well, I'm not calling roadside assist. That ain't happening. I'm limping this car all the way back to the office to get this guy to come change it.
Were you just embarrassed the whole time people were going past you? I would have been dying of embarrassment.
I pulled over to let some people go through.
I would have left the car and abandoned it for the rest of my life.
Nah, see, I didn't realize it was that bad until I was like, I only ran the window down to check how loud it was when I got back to the office. So I was driving all the way through Altona.
Oh, so you noticed it was flat. You didn't notice it was that flat.
I knew it was flat.
But not like...
Because I could feel a bump.
But no,
bump, bump.
When you checked it, wasn't as flat as when we saw it.
No, it was that flat. It would have been that flat. On the way, I just pulled over at the servo to put air in it. Wouldn't even put air in the tire, and like it looked like flat. Then I'm like, that's flat. I shouldn't drive.
Like when we got
I made it way worse on the drive back. So on the way, when I pulled out of the servo, it was all right. It was still had a little bit of air. It was flat. You could tell it was flat. I was like, I'll just change it anyway. Wouldn't change, so I drove it back, and then I was just going down the road. And it was only when I got to just out the front of here that I wound the window down, and I could hear it echo through the street.
So now Pat and I decided we're just going to buy some bikes. I need to buy a bike. Far out,
bicycle gang. Because I got to pay my excess on my car and then I got to get the brakes redone. So
also, I got one more thing to say.
Go on.
Everybody had my swimming lesson.
Oh, let's talk about that real quick. Go on.
All right, real quick. So obviously, I don't know if you know this about me, but I've got anxiety.
Yeah, wouldn't know. Never spoken about it before.
I've never seen it. Never felt it. Anyway, so obviously I can try new things, but I normally get really, really nervous. So I went to this uni for 4 years. And I didn't know where the pool was. I never went down that part. My classes were never in that area.
Yeah,
I stuck to like my rooms, and I often didn't go to uni. I was the terrible student. Anyway, did Google Maps, Street View, found some parking. Will's saying, oh, they're building a hospital near there. There's not going to be any parking. So obviously, bloody nervous fuck. Get there, and I'm like, I get to the counter, and I'm like, I'm here for my swimming lesson.
As a 29-year-old.
Yeah. And then he's like, okay, what's your last name? So I say it, and he goes, okay, you're good to go in. And I looked at him like, where am I meant to go? Because how am I meant to know what lane to do? Like, is there signs? And then he goes, oh, you'll just be waiting for Pip, and she's behind you. And I looked at her, and I was like, hi, Pip, I'm so nervous. I forget she's human. And she goes, that's okay. She goes, go in the change room, get prepared, and I'll meet you out there. So obviously I go in there, and I trying to get my clothes off real quick. I had my bathers on underneath. I'm come prepared. And I thought, I came out, and I was like, what if she's already come out into here, and I've got shocking eyesight? I freaked out. I forgot what she looked like, and I was like, oh, my God. Do I find the pool lane? Like, which lane is it? I'm just freaking out. Anyone with anxiety knows that this is 1,000 thoughts going through their head.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, just like a school kid, like, waiting. And she comes over. She goes, come on, hop in the pool. I get in the pool and I'm just freaking out. And she could tell. And she's like, oh, so what's your swimming experience? Immediate thought, shouldn't have signed up to the intermediate class. Should have done beginners.
Yeah.
Like, I've forgotten how to swim now. I don't know how to breathe. She goes, and I looked at her and she goes, well, what sort of experience do you have? And I was like, I can swim. And she's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so embarrassed at this point. She's like,
I can swim.
and I was like, I went swimming last week. I did. And, you know, I was like this. I did 4 lots of number
4, count them 4.
And she goes, okay. And then she's like, we're just going to warm up with 100 meters. And I was like, I didn't say I did it in a row. So I had to swim 100 meters. Anyway, I'm not someone that lets someone know I'm struggling. So I swam the 100 meters. It's the most I've ever swum in one go.
That's good.
And it's just pride, I think, or just anxiety. Got to the end, and I was like, she came swimming next to me for a bit, and she's obviously checking out my form. And I was like, she goes, what's the goal for swimming? Why have you booked it in? And obviously I said, I'm going to do a triathlon. She goes, oh yeah. She goes, okay. She goes, you're a runner. And I said, I've had this conversation with so many people, and someone thinks I'm excelling in one of the events. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I got that down pat. I'll have it sorted by then. She goes, and you've got your bike all sorted. You've got that going. I said, I'm in the process. I haven't even started looking. And I was like, fuck me. She's caught me out here. She knows I'm not going to be prepared. But the good thing was, like, she taught me lots of stuff, but she was an open water swimmer. She hates swimming in a pool. Then she invited me on Saturdays to go to this beach to do swimming. And they have a group, and I can't remember what they call it. And they swim like 2 kilometers a morning. I said, and she said, people swim only 200 meters and someone will swim back with them. And in my head, that's 400 meters, 200 there, go swim 200 back.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm not ready for that yet, obviously.
No.
But then it went really well. I'm going to be the star of the class once I just...
Isn't there only 3 people in the class?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm definitely the third at the moment, but once I get this little form technique done.
Good.
You know what she said to me?
What?
She called me a muscle mommy.
Oh, yeah.
She goes...
Forgot what you told me that, yeah.
She goes, you got core strength? And I was like, yeah. Goes, how? I said, oh, like, I go to the gym. Just, yeah. And I said, I'm just like a bit of a PT. I couldn't even say what my job was. And she's like, oh. And she asked about that. She goes, I can tell. I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, fucking biceps. Do you see them, baby? No. She goes, you're tensing your glutes too much and your core too much. She goes, you're a tense muscle mummy. And I was like,
that's what you should change your Instagram handle to.
Tense muscle mummy. And I was like, in my head, I was like, fucking compliment. She goes, swimming is not like that. It's meditation in water. And I said, oh.
No, it's definitely not.
Oh, I can't meditate. She goes, I can tell.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
No, because she knew I was like, I was spreading that anxiety in that pool. And the anxiety was like, anyway. So I'll update you next week because next week. Next week's going to be horrible because she's not there. So I have to do this whole ordeal with someone new.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
At least you've done it once. You got over the fear.
No, now I have to do it with someone else and then I'll be fine.
Right. And then you go back to the other lady.
Like, I freaked out when I was getting there. I was trying to open the pool door. It wasn't the door you went in. The door was locked and I kept trying. And I was like, why is this not opening? And then the sign, exit only.
You must have been very nervous.
Yeah, I was shaking.
You signed up to these fucking swimming lessons. It's not no one held a gun to your head.
I know, but if I listen to my anxiety, this is going to be a good segue. If I listen to my anxiety, I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, true, fair.
Yeah, my anxiety, it's meant your stress and your nervous system and, fight or flight's meant to keep you safe. Mine would keep me in my house with the door locked.
You'd be very safe.
Yeah, when we're trying any new foods.
No, that's true. That's true. All right, well, that's a good segue. Let's not talk about anxiety. Let's talk about getting into the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
Some beginner steps. Not beginner steps to get into the gym. Let's just talk about beginners in the gym in general. Anxiety being one of them. Being anxious. I think we spoke about a little bit. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
We spoke a little bit about gym anxiety and overcoming it. And I think it's just starting small. No, 2 things there.
There's a difference.
Some people can start small. Some people prefer to be thrown straight in the deep end.
If you can't even get in the gym, start walking on the treadmill.
Yep.
But if you can get in the gym, we're going to go and we're going to run.
Yeah.
Not actually run, but
just go and do it.
go and do it.
I think it's some people just need to a shock and just do it. And then once they've done it, like you in the swimming, once you did it, you were relatively fine.
Oh, once I was in the water and
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do baby steps to get into a swimming lesson. You have to swim.
well,
Otherwise, you're just standing in the pool.
I joked with her. I said, I should have been in the other class. And she goes, no, that's just learning to get into the water. And I was like, fuck, I'm already on stage 2.
So there you go. Like, I think just either if you're someone that can just handle being thrown into stuff, like pushed out of your comfort zone very quickly, then go for it. I think that's going to be
It's going to be better in the long run.
It's going to be because you get into it faster.
Yeah. The quicker you rip that Band-Aid off, the better. Are you someone that pulls off the Band-Aid slowly or rip it quick?
I rip it quick.
I know, but there's those Band-Aids that
there are some
stick
things
ones that you need to go slow, like the hospital ones. They're going to rip your leg off.
The hospital ones?
Oh, you never had surgery before?
I've never been to a hospital apart from taking you.
Frequent player.
Yeah, I know. So I think that you can get away with being thrown in the deep end if you're someone that can handle that and you don't have a heap of anxiety around the gym. But if you're very nervous to go to the gym, like it's
normal.
It is normal. But then start small. Start on the treadmill. Start with something basic. Then work your way up. Start with one machine, like your client win the other week. Start with one machine, even if it's not on something that you're following. Start with one machine, graduate to a different machine, and then in a few weeks, by just small exposure to different things, you'll be comfortable enough, or at least you might not be comfortable, but comfortable enough to go and actually follow a program and do a whole workout.
Any new exercise, as a newbie, you're gonna be shit scared.
Yeah, when I go to new gyms, I get a little bit nervous about trying to find stuff and not looking like an idiot walking around being like, "Where's this machine? Where's the one? Oh, it's over here." Because we train here.
Yeah.
And I know where everything is.
Sadly not. And sometimes the gym layouts, they're not the way that I would plan them.
No, they're not how I want them. Yeah.
What do you mean? I was in a Chuka once and we went to Anytime Fitness and I was like looking at the layout. I was like, why am I going from this machine, which is always paired with this machine, like a leg machine?
Yeah.
I had to go into the third room. And I was like,
no, legs here, chest, back, all should be nice and neatly organized. I think the big thing for people though is that if it's not, like once they get into the gym, it's like what the fuck am I supposed to do?
you gotta have a plan.
Gotta have a plan. So I think it doesn't necessarily. While a tailored plan would be the best option, not everyone has a tailored plan. Sometimes you just need a plan. You can get them online. I don't know any. I'm not going to name any particular places that have them because I don't.
Well, we're not gonna.
I'm not going to fucking sit here and plug someone else's stuff. Actually, our Macros Made Easy ebook has a program in it.
Oh, and same with my Beginner's Guide to Fitness.
Does too. Yeah. Sorry.
Mastering You.
I'm going to plug those because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I wrote them. The programs in that.
We wrote them.
Not for Macros Made Easy. I definitely wrote that.
Well, it was before my time.
So they're good programs. I back them because I had a large amount of input on them.
Obviously, they're not specifically tailored to you. They're a generic one, but that's what you're going to find when you just buy a plan online.
Yep.
That's
they're
not
going
tailored to you.
to be generic, but as a
newbie, it's good.
Yeah, I think newbies can benefit from something that's more specific to them, but is general. As long as you've got something to follow, it will give you structure in the gym and it will take more anxiety away because you're not going to not go in and being like, well, where do I start? You're like, I start on this machine, I do 3 sets of 10 here, then I go to this machine, and it gives you some level of order. Because even with my anxiety around situations, not very different to your anxiety, but probably in your anxiety too, something you write in your notebook all the time, having something structured to follow, maybe that's not the anxiety.
No, I'm a notebook.
I'll cut that bit out.
I'm a notebook girly. I like to have structure because prior planning prevents poor piss performance.
Yep. Yeah.
Whatever.
Prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
Yeah, that one.
5 Ps. 5? 6? 5. Regardless. But having something structured to follow, even with anxiety, will help alleviate some of that because there's the fear of the unknown is not there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Cool.
Some beginner tips.
Beginner tips. In what aspect?
When you're, particularly as a newbie, if you've not been to the gym much, you can be bloody sore.
Oh, DOMS. Delayed onset muscle soreness.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. It sounds so...
DOMS.
DOMS is just so much. It's just sore. You're just sore.
You're just sore.
You're just sore. And sore is good. I've had clients in the past, many years ago when I did one-on-one in-person stuff, say, Pat, I'm really sore after this workout. I'm going to take some Panadol. Like, okay. You're allowed to be sore, but unless it's injury pain, don't take DOMS. Or don't take Panadol for DOMS. It's not that bad.
Well, Panadol's for pain, but I've heard people taking inflammatories like Nurofen for when they're real bad. When they're first beginning, they can't get out of bed afterwards.
Well, then they've done too much.
Yeah, they've done too
They've
much.
done too much. So there's a level of DOMS that's tolerable where like the thing is it's just exposure and the recovery, the adaptation that you will get to get over DOMS is by doing the same thing more and more over time. So your body starts to build tolerance to it. Yeah, tolerance to it. And you will find that you only ever get serious DOMS again is when you change the input. So change of exercise, something new that your body hasn't done. Change the amount of sets, reps, the volume you do, tempo. When you start to change other variables, so it becomes something different, your body has to then adapt differently to that. So,
like undereating, sleep, stress, more likely to...
Recovery all plays a role in it. Sorry, that's true. Like if you get a poor night's sleep, you're going to be sore the next day. You're going to recover poor if you're not eating enough protein, carbs to recover. Calories in general, you're not going to recover as well. So they all play a role in it. But I think DOMS is something that needs to be embraced.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
And two things. First thing,
Go on.
Say you get real bad DOMS. Don't wait till next week.
No, just go and do it again.
Yeah. You can train through them. Warm-up sets. Once you get the blood circulating through those muscles, you're going to feel a whole lot better. You know when you've got sore muscles and you're sitting on the couch, getting up is really hard, but then as you start to baby giraffe walk a bit, it gets easier. It's until you stop. It's, the blood circulating all through the muscles is going to help you.
Yeah.
So go train through it. Obviously, if it's an injury, no. But at the same time, DOMS is not an accurate representation of a good workout.
Correct.
The amount of times that I hear, I wasn't that sore.
Yeah, you don't need to be sore. I like the sensation of DOMS, but it doesn't gauge whether. For me, it's not a indicator of a good workout. It's just
it doesn't always happen.
I trained hard.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen.
No, so like most chest days for me, I won't get DOMS anymore. The only day I really get DOMS on now is leg day.
Well,
it's because I do it so infrequently.
I've got DOMS at the moment from. I have no scapular retraction movement.
Yeah. Broken.
It doesn't move. It's really funny.
Should post a video on that one day because it's good.
It's a deformity. But anyway, we're trying to get me some movement in there, and I'm doing these weird looking dumbbell rows.
Yeah, you're loading them different. You're using momentum and you can't.
Using gravity, and my gosh, my obliques and my legs.
Well, you're fighting rotation.
Yeah. Oh, I've never trained that side. Sides.
No.
Never.
It's just it's small tweaks, and then you start to. I don't like the term stabilizer muscles because stabilizer muscles, every muscle is a stabilizer muscle depending on the movement. But anything that helps create stability or forces stability in that particular movement, if it's new, will get trained. So like when you're doing a squat, your abs and your erectors are stabilizer muscles because they're holding you upright. In your case, pull-ups.
My pull-ups, my abs lately, they're not so much anymore. But the first few ones, first few weeks, stretched. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, when I was doing really heavy RDLs.
Oh, really heavy upper back pull downs.
You get sore abs from that.
Oh, yeah, because I tense.
when I do heavy RDLs,
you
I get them.
obviously don't do them hard and heavy enough.
Mate, I do the full stack.
Yeah. Not heavy enough. Anyway, RDLs, you get sore abs?
Not anymore. I used to for a long period of time get sore abs doing those. Mainly though, like for you, it would just be the fact that you're fighting rotation and your obliques are holding you from not just completely going over. Because I think yours it's called contralaterally loaded. I think. No. Yes. Ipso. One of the lateral loaded. I'll clarify that.
Same hand, same leg, rotating.
Then it's ipso laterally loaded, I'm pretty sure.
Ipso.
That's a big word. Yeah, because we do contralaterally loaded lunges. So like when you do your step back lunges, you're loading the opposite side. Yeah, cool. Yeah, sick. Look at me. I learned something. What was I saying? Stability, stabilizing.
Sore muscles. But basically, recap. DOMs are amazing. Embrace them. If you don't have them,
it's not the end of the world. It'll all come down to level of expertise and proficiency in the gym, total volume, how much you've actually done. Because I know that I can do, if I do too much or so, like if I do enough of anything, I'm going to get sore. And I think it can be used as a beginner tool or any tool to show someone work rate.
If you're a newbie at the gym and you're not sore in the first few weeks, You're not training hard enough.
That's a good point. Where like you and I now can get away with being like, okay, we know the intensity of training hard, but if you're going to the gym and it's your first 3-4 weeks in the gym and you're not getting sore, well, you're probably not. Yeah, you're right. You're not training hard enough. For anyone else, I would say that that's not a valid metric.
No, not at all.
But in the beginning, you're not training hard enough if you're not getting sore.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I never even thought of it like that. Look at you. Taught me something. Thank you.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
All right. For also a tip for newbies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's probably been said somewhere. Someone said it once, and everyone's kind of listened to it. When you start to feel the burn during your sets, do not stop.
Oh yeah.
The burn is not an indication where you should stop.
No.
You can probably push another 8 reps after that burn starts.
Yep. So it just comes back to training intensity.
Yeah. When I was a newbie, I used to do like leg extension, right? And my last one would burn. I'm like, done.
Oh, that hurt a little bit. Okay, I got to stop now.
No, it's burning a little bit.
Yeah.
Now my second rep, it starts to burn because I'm lifting a whole lot more weight.
Mm-hmm.
From the second one to about, 12, depending where I'm going, they all burn.
Yeah, well,
that's a good thing.
It's not supposed to be comfortable.
No.
If muscle growth was easy,
you wouldn't be tearing muscle fibers.
No, I said this in a video I made ages ago. If muscle growth was easy, everyone would be jacked.
Yeah.
But not many people are, because you need to be uncomfortable in a position of uncomfortability and stress and challenge to actually grow. The body's not going to grow on its own.
Like, just think about it. If you're tearing something, there's going to be a discomfort.
Yep.
Micro tears in your muscles.
You're breaking stuff down.
It's not meant to. You're meant to feel it.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, and if you're not getting to a point of where like if your sets, you just flopping your legs around, you'd be like, oh well, I did 12. No, fuck it. You just like there's checking boxes and then there's checking boxes. If you're just doing a movement for the sake of doing movement, you're not going to grow. You're not going to make any progress. You're not going to get any stronger. You're going to make a bunch of false gains in the beginning because you will start way too light, and then you will be at a point where you're like, oh, I've added 400 kilos on my leg press in 3 weeks. Like, well, you didn't, because you didn't actually challenge yourself in the first 3.
And that's feedback I often give with clients at the start. In their second and third, I'm like, all right, we've had a big jump in total volume. However, you're just, this is still not your baseline.
Yep.
We want small increases. We want increases.
Yep.
But you're not going to get 1,000 kilos of growth in 1 week. It's you figuring out what you can lift. And that's normal,
Yeah, well, like if someone's very new, if you're a beginner, I don't expect you to know where your working capacity is in your first week.
I just want you to get in the gym and finish the session.
Yeah, and then we'll be able to gauge, okay, cool, this was difficult. This is where form videos are important, because you send them to the coach and be like, all right, well, I've done this long enough. I have seen enough client videos to where this is a 6 out of 10. You can push harder here. You can push harder here. This is really good. Push harder here. Do this one a lot better.
You know what I saw? I've never thought about it this way.
Go on.
You know when we talk about RPE? So rather than just being like, oh, I've worked out a 10 out of 10 effort, it's out of reps, 10 out of 10 reps, in the sense that, not like, reword this. So say I sent you a video and you thought that I had 2 more reps left in me, and 8.
Yeah, reps in reserve.
Yeah.
That's a different metric of measuring.
I know, but for a very beginner, like, understanding that you've got nothing left to give. Because sometimes trying to explain someone's effort, it's like, oh, I did put in 10 out of 10 effort. It's very hard to explain.
Yeah. I don't know enough about reps in reserve to talk about it too much. I haven't really ever looked into it because I've only ever used the RPE scale.
Well, no, this person was talking about it in relation to an RPE scale.
Well, yeah. It's a reps, it's an RIR model, reps in reserve. So you would program that I want you, instead of hitting a 10 out of 10 RPE, I want you to have 2 reps in reserve.
Yeah.
But I think I don't see the point, because I want to take sets close to failure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like you're saying it when you're explaining it to a client.
I see.
You're converting it over, being like, all right, like how many reps do you think you had left?
Yeah, cool. I get you. Because if they say, oh, I had none, like I can see that you had at least 3 or 4 in it. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry,
and then explaining it that way, like still with RPE, because I had my clients at the moment been sending videos. And well, I mean, they always send videos. We've been doing a lot of, you watch it back and tell me what you think it is.
Yep.
And it's such a good conversation started. Being like, they were like, I think this was a 9.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, a few more left than you.
Correct.
Yeah, a few more left than you.
Yeah, that's why I film most of my sets too. Not as of late. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to film a lot of my sets so I can look at myself and be like, because when you're in the moment, you just finished a hard set. You're like, oh, that was hard. And then you watch a video and like, oh.
I'll see, I know, like, as soon as I finish the set, as soon as I put the weight down or whatever it is, I go, that was a waste. I could have had another day. I should talk to myself and I'm like, fuck, I just put all that effort in.
Yeah.
That's another way to look at it. If you're going to lift it for 8,
you can lift it for 10.
Lift it for 10 and make it worth your while.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I never even thought of that. But I think that we're more experienced, so that when we start a new program, I know my barometer for an incline dumbbell press. You've seen me progress from the 35s to the 50s. Every
movement, what my average baseline would be.
And then I know where to start. And then even if it's slightly off, I'll be like, okay, well, next week I'll do this, and I'll know where it's roughly at.
And also where it is. We can know where it is in the program.
Yeah.
It'll make a difference.
Correct. So it's all going to be situationally dependent. Like, I haven't RDL'd because of my back in years. I reckon 2 years. I've done it sporadically here and there just to fuck around, but it's in my new program. And I was like, I started at 100 because my back gives out very quickly. And then I was like, that was pretty good. All right, I went to 140. That's not bad. And then I went to 160. And now my working weight is 160. And by the end of this block, that'll be 180, 190.
That was like when we were doing rows. I was doing single arm dumbbell rows. And I picked up the 22s. And Pat goes, you sure you do that? Remember?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you're right. I must have just added together wrong. And I went down further. I finished that set. He was like, no, I think you can do that. I was like, you psyched me out. You psyched me out. You're like, that was a good set.
Yeah, well, it's like you can be wrong. You just count it as a warm-up set and redo it. All right, beginner tip. I think this is 4 now. Well, not really a tip. Something to training days per week. So the metric, the rule for training days is what you can commit to.
Yeah.
But if you are a beginner, don't do fucking 6 or 7 days of gym a week. Even as an advance, I don't do it. I can't tell you the last time I once had a client program 2 sessions a day. They would do morning and night. It wasn't me. Yeah, it was. No, I did. And it was just a test. Like, they were a client that'd been with me for a long time. So we had the unspoken rule that they were like, I would read something new and do some research on it, and then they'd be like the guinea pig for it. And they were like, yeah, cool, sick. Nah, it didn't. Like, they would do their heavy stuff in the morning. They'd have 2 shorter sessions, really heavy stuff in the morning, and then lighter, more accessory work in the afternoon, evening. And it was something that they could do, and it worked, but it was just unsustainable.
Oh, yeah.
So
for majority of people, who's got time to go to the gym twice a day?
Not many. So it was very, very rare situation. I would never do it again. But I think the max of a program for someone is 6 days, and that was because they would have one short session in the middle of the week because they were doing athletics or something like that, or some kind of sport. But most of the upper limit for people is 5. My upper limit is 5 for me. But the best program for you is the one you can stick to. So if that's a 3-day program, even that's a 2-day program, I very rarely program 2 days for people. I've got a client that I do program 2 days for in the gym because she does CrossFit 3 days of the week, and the 2 days are accessories to CrossFit work. We just look at what her block is that month or that 6 weeks, whatever it is, that cycle. And then we like, okay, cool, you got a lot of deadlifts in the program. I know your CrossFit gym doesn't do a lot of accessory movements. So they're just doing their clean and snatches and all that stuff. So we call it bro gym. Bro gym for her is, she got a CrossFit and then she got a bro gym. Bro gym for her is all accessory movements to the CrossFit. I
want to point out is when I'm like having, initial consults or chatting with new clients, I always have the conversation about, it's about how many days you can commit to, but also the length of time you can commit to. Mm-hmm. Because a 3-day program, yes, you're only in the gym 3 days, but you're going to be doing more exercises. Yeah,
you'll be in longer in those sessions because you need to fit more into less time.
So if you don't have a longer period of time to get to the gym in the morning, then it might be an option to do 4 days because you'll be in there slightly shorter. Also, mentally, I feel like mental stamina, that's also you need to take into consideration as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always get posed the question is like, I'll do whatever you think I should, whatever's best. And
what's best?
Or just case dependent. So I get distracted by the pictures behind you all the time.
I never notice them.
Because your side's sitting off kilter to me. So like
I keep moving.
I moved it because we had someone in here doing another podcast. But what was the question? Sorry.
You said you always get posed the question, what's best for me?
Oh, a client will be like, oh, I'll do whatever you say is best. And like, okay, that would be going to the gym 5 days a week, perfect program, perfect nutrition, perfect this, perfect that, perfect blood work, perfect everything, which is the best. That's optimal. But what do we not live in? An optimal world. So what is best for the individual is very case dependent, and it's what you can stick to. So whether that's nutrition, like we obviously graduate people to macro tracking, but I've still got clients that do meal plans because they're...
Or they go back on them.
Or they go back on them, things get busy, and it's easier for me to write you a meal plan than it is to sit there and think about it. Like I can bang out a meal plan in 5 minutes because I've been doing it long enough to where, all right, well, these are your macros. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, done. Cool. Move on. But it's more that whatever's going to be something that you can adhere to at least 90%. Because there are going to be days where you can't do it, and that's fine. But adherence and consistency over a long period of time is going to be what gets you a result. And it's monotony. And unfortunately, this is something that you probably agree with me on this, is just doing the same thing over and over again. It's boring. It's doing the same thing repetitively. You go to the gym, you eat your food, you do your steps. If you've got cardio, you do your cardio, you get your sleep. It's a small part. This is probably people are going to maybe disagree, but I think it's a small thing. Now, and this is going to be I'm going to go on a tangent. You right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent. Now, people don't like saying no to things. This is an episode that we're going to do in a separate episode. But
should we save it for a separate episode?
I don't know. I thought about this last night and I got real angry over it.
Nah, because this is a solid episode. Let's just leave them with a question.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it.
Think it.
That's a good idea.
I want you to have, actually, from now until our next podcast.
We're going to do this episode next because I've thought about this and it really annoyed me.
You, our listeners, maybe take a tally or something of how many times that they said no or that they gave in to something that deterred them from their goals.
Yep.
Is that good?
Yeah. So if there's something that challenged your goal I would say for more the negative, not the positive, that challenged your commitment to the goal or consistency to the goal, because you can still be committed in golf plan, but consistency towards the goal or consistency to the plan. How many times did you actually say no to it?
Yeah. Example.
So
you've got it's the weekend. You plan to stay at home or go out for a walk with a friend, and your friend goes, "Hey, let's get an almond croissant."
Yeah, I was going to use a more extreme example, but sure.
I'm just doing real life ones.
Let's go out and get plastered on a Saturday.
Okay. But sometimes people don't plan about that. I guess that happens.
Well, that's where saying no is the key thing.
Yeah, but also, you've already hit all your macros. You don't want a budget for the next day. You eat the almond croissant even though you didn't really want it. You could have just said no.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. So there's your example.
Or even easier.
Go on.
You've got no meal prep ready to go and it's Friday night tonight and you get takeaway.
That's a common one.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times.
Because I feel like that's a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to calorie bank for this or make it up for later. And it's like just one meal. Yeah, it is just one meal, but when it happens...
It's 2,500 calories. I've eaten a large Big Mac meal and I don't know how many calories are in that.
If it happens frequently and you wonder, why is my weight fluctuating and not
or
going down?
Or going up.
Anyway, just have a think about how many times in the next 7 days you say no.
Yep.
Or you don't say no to things that are going to impact your goals.
Correct. All right. Well, we will see you next week. If you have any questions, feel free to flick them over to either our Instagrams. You know what they are.
Our downloads are in our link.
We got to work on our outro.
The links, the master, what is it? Macros Made Easy.
Oh yes, sorry.
Mastering You both have beginner
programs in them.
Yeah. There's 3 days. I think there's 4 days and there's 5 days.
I think. Don't quote me on that. It's a long time ago since I wrote them.
And there's home ones in my one and at the gym.
Yeah, there is.
Alternatives.
That's true.
If you don't have a program, check it out.
Yep. And if you want to jump on a call and have a chat about your goals, you're more than welcome to do so. There are links in both our bios, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We inquire on the website, put an inquiry through. Someone will get in contact to book you in for a call, and then we will go from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we might offer something special at our next one. Our next podcast.
We might. I don't know what it is yet. You're looking at me like I should know, but we might.
Special. All right. Have a good day, night, sleep.
So yeah,
Bye.
if you listen to this to go to sleep, that's a bit weird. But anyway, bye bye.